The massive space station Delta 7 hung in the darkness between two star systems like a silver jewel. Today it would host the most important meeting in galactic history. The Alterian Empire and the Terran Federation had been at war for 30 years. Now finally there was hope for peace. Queen Kira of the Alterian Empire sat in her royal ship as it approached the station. Her blue skin shimmered under the cabin lights and her large compound eyes reflected worry. This peace meeting was her idea, and many of her people thought she was making a mistake. Some even called her a traitor for wanting to talk with humans instead of fighting them. "Your Majesty, we are ready to dock," said Commander Vex, her chief of security. He was a tall Alterian with silver markings on his arms that showed his high rank. "Thank you, Commander," Kira replied. She adjusted her royal robes, which were deep purple with gold trim. "Remember, we must show strength but also our desire for peace. The future of both our species depends on what happens here." The Queen's ship docked with a soft thud. Through the window, Kira could see human security guards waiting in the docking bay. She took a deep breath and stood up. Her forearms moved gracefully as she prepared to meet her former enemies. The airlock opened with a hiss. Kira stepped into the station, followed by her advisors and guards. The artificial gravity felt different from her homeworld, lighter somehow. The air smelled strange too, filtered and recycled. A human woman in a blue uniform stepped forward. She had short brown hair and kind eyes. "Your Majesty, welcome to Delta 7. I am Captain Sarah Webb, Station Commander. We are honored to host these peace talks." Kira nodded politely. "Thank you, Captain. I hope our meeting here will bring good results for everyone." As they spoke, Kira's compound eyes scanned the area. Human security guards stood at attention around the docking bay. They all looked similar to her. 2 arms, 2 legs, forward-facing eyes. But one guard caught her attention immediately. The guard stood near the main exit, watching the crowd carefully. He was tall with dark hair and green eyes. His face was strong but kind, with a small scar on his left cheek. Kira's breath caught in her throat. The resemblance was impossible to ignore. He looked exactly like Dex. Prince Dex had been her mate 25 years ago. They had been young and in love, planning to rule the Empire together. But Dex had been a dreamer and an explorer. Against her wishes, he had joined a deep space mission to chart unknown regions beyond Alterian space. His ship had vanished without a trace, leaving only silence and broken hearts. The guard noticed her staring and straightened his shoulders. His name tag read, Ben Torres, Security. His eyes met hers for a moment, and Kira felt her 4 hearts skip a beat. The resemblance was not just physical. Even his posture and the way he held his head reminded her of Dex. "Your Majesty?" Captain Webb's voice broke through her thoughts. "Is everything all right?" Kira forced herself to look away from the guard. "Yes, of course. I was just observing your security arrangements." Very thorough. But as they walked through the station corridors, Kira could not stop thinking about the human guard. Ben Torres kept a respectful distance but stayed close enough to help if needed. Every time she glanced at him, her mind filled with memories of Dex. The station was enormous, with wide hallways and high ceilings. Humans and a few other species walked around, going about their daily business. Some stared at Kira with curiosity, others with suspicion. War had made both species afraid of each other. "Your quarters are in the diplomatic section," Captain Webb explained as they walked. "We have adjusted the atmosphere and temperature for your comfort. The peace talks will begin tomorrow morning in Conference Room Alpha." Kira nodded but found it hard to focus. Her advisor, Minister Zara, walked beside her and whispered, "My queen, you seem distracted. Is something wrong?" "No, nothing is wrong," Kira lied. "I am just thinking about tomorrow's meeting." They reached the diplomatic quarters, a series of large rooms designed for visiting leaders. Captain Webb showed Kira to her suite, which had been decorated with Alterian symbols and colors. It was thoughtful, and showed that the humans really wanted these talks to succeed. "Guard Torres will be assigned to your personal security detail," Captain Webb said. "He is one of our best. His record is perfect, and he has experience working with different species." Kira's 4 hearts raced. "I see. Has he worked with Alterians before?" "Not specifically, but he has an unusual talent for understanding different cultures. He seems to know what people need before they ask. It is quite remarkable." After Captain Webb left, Kira sat alone in her quarters. Minister Zara and Commander Vex were in the next room, reviewing security reports and meeting plans. But Kira could only think about Ben Torres and his impossible resemblance to Dex. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. "Come in," she called. Ben Torres entered and bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, I am here to discuss your security arrangements. Captain Webb asked me to review the protocols with you." Up close, the resemblance was even more striking. His voice was different from Dex's, deeper and with a human accent, but something in his manner reminded her of her lost love. "Please, sit down," Kira said, gesturing to a chair. "I would like to ask you some questions first, if you do not mind." Ben sat carefully, maintaining a professional posture. "Of course, Your Majesty. How can I help you? Tell me about yourself, Guard Torres. Where are you from? What is your background?" Ben seemed surprised by the personal questions, but answered politely. "I was born on the colony world of Haven's Rest, Your Majesty. My parents were farmers there. And your family? Are they still on Haven's Rest?" Ben's expression changed slightly, becoming sadder. "I do not know who my birth parents are, Your Majesty. I was found as a baby by the Torres family. They raised me as their own son." Kira's compound eyes focused intently on him. "Found? What do you mean?" "The Torres family discovered me in an escape pod near their farm. I was maybe 6 months old. The pod was damaged and most of its records were destroyed. They never learned where I came from originally." Kira felt her breath catch. "When was this? How long ago?" "About 24 years ago, Your Majesty. The Torres family tried to find my real parents, but there were no missing baby reports from any human colonies. It was a mystery, 24 years ago. That was just 1 year after Dex's ship had vanished." Kira's mind raced with possibilities that seemed impossible. "Do you remember anything from before the Torres family found you?" she asked carefully. Ben shook his head. "Nothing, Your Majesty. My earliest memories are of growing up on the farm with my adoptive parents. They were good people. They taught me to work hard and treat everyone with respect. What happened to them? They died in a farming accident when I was 16. After that, I joined the Federation Security Force. I have been working as a guard for 8 years now." Kira studied his face carefully. Now that she looked closer, she could see subtle differences from pure humans. His eyes were slightly larger than normal, and his ears had a small point at the tips. His reflexes seemed faster too, the way he moved his head to track sounds in the hallway. "Guard Torres, have you ever felt different from other humans? Have you ever had unusual abilities or instincts?" Ben looked uncomfortable with the personal questions, but answered honestly. "Sometimes, Your Majesty, I seem to notice things others miss. I can often tell when someone is upset or lying, even if they try to hide it. Other guards say I have good instincts for security work. And you have never wondered about your origins?" "Every day," Ben admitted. "But after so many years with no answers, I learned to focus on the present instead of the past." Kira felt a mixture of excitement and fear. Could it be possible? Could this human guard actually be connected to Dex somehow? The timing was right, and his appearance was too similar to be mere coincidence. "Your Majesty," Ben said carefully, "may I ask why you are interested in my background? Have I done something wrong?" "No, not at all," Kira said quickly. "You just remind me of someone I knew long ago. Someone very important to me." Ben nodded politely but did not ask for more details. His professional training kept him from being too curious about personal matters. "Shall we discuss your security arrangements now?" he asked. For the next hour, they went over the safety protocols for the peace talks. Ben explained the station layout, emergency procedures, and the positions of all security personnel. He was thorough and professional, showing why Captain Webb had praised his work. But Kira found it hard to concentrate. Every gesture Ben made, every expression on his face, reminded her of Dex. The way he tilted his head when thinking, the way he used his hands when explaining something, even the way he smiled when trying to reassure her. As the meeting ended, Ben stood to leave. "Your Majesty, if you need anything at all, please contact me immediately. I will be stationed outside your quarters tonight." "Thank you, Guard Torres. You have been very helpful." After he left, Kira sat in silence for a long time. Minister Zara entered the room and found her staring at the wall. "My queen, you look troubled. Are you worried about tomorrow's peace talks?" Kira turned to face her oldest advisor. Zara had served the royal family for 40 years and could read Kira's moods better than anyone. "Zara, do you remember Prince Dex?" The older Altarian's expression softened. "Of course, my queen, we all loved the prince. His loss was a great tragedy for the Empire." "The human guard, Ben Torres. Did you notice anything unusual about him?" Zara thought for a moment. "He seems very professional and capable." "Why do you ask?" "Look at him more carefully tomorrow. Tell me what you see. Zara promised to pay attention, though she seemed confused by the request. That night, Kira lay in her bed but could not sleep. Her quarters had a window facing space and she stared out at the stars. Somewhere among those lights was her home world, where her people waited for news of the peace talks. Tomorrow would bring the most important negotiations in galactic history. The war between Alterians and humans had cost millions of lives on both sides. If these talks failed, the fighting might continue for generations. But tonight, all Kira could think about was a human guard who looked like her lost love. Was it possible that Dex had survived his ship's destruction? Could he have somehow ended up in human space? And if Ben Torres was connected to Dex, what did that mean for both their species? The questions spun through her mind like a whirlwind. In the morning, she would have to focus on peace negotiations. But first, she needed to learn more about Ben Torres and his mysterious origins. As the station's artificial night cycle continued, Kira finally drifted off to sleep. Her dreams were filled with memories of Dex and hopes for a future where Alterians and humans could live together in peace. Outside her quarters, Ben Torres stood guard in the hallway. He did not know that his presence had stirred up so many emotions in the alien queen. He was just doing his job, protecting an important visitor during crucial peace talks. But sometimes, Ben found himself staring at his reflection in the station's windows and wondering about the parents he had never known. Tonight, those wondering thoughts seemed stronger than usual, as if something important was about to be revealed. The peace talks would begin in just a few hours. Neither Ben nor Queen Kira knew that their meeting would change both their lives forever, and perhaps determine the future of two entire species. The morning of the peace talks arrived with the station's artificial sunrise. Queen Kira woke early and prepared herself carefully. Today would determine if Alterians and humans could end their 30-year war. But her mind kept returning to Ben Torres and his mysterious past. As she entered the main conference room, Kira saw representatives from both species taking their seats. The humans sat on one side of a large oval table, while spaces for Alterians were prepared on the other side. Ben Torres stood near the wall, watching everyone carefully. Minister Zara approached Kira quietly. "My queen, I observed the human guard as you requested." "You are right. There is something unusual about him. His features are not entirely human." "What do you see?" Kira whispered back. "His ears have slight points and his eyes are larger than normal for humans. His movements are too graceful, too quick. And when he looks at you, I see something familiar in his expression." Before Kira could respond, Captain Webb called the meeting to order. "Welcome everyone to these historic peace negotiations. We hope to find solutions that will benefit both our species." The talks began formally, with each side presenting their positions. The humans wanted access to Alterian trade routes. The Alterians wanted guarantees that humans would not expand into their territory. Both sides had been hurt by the war and did not trust each other easily. As the morning progressed, Kira found herself watching Ben more than listening to the negotiations. He seemed to anticipate problems before they happened. When one of the human delegates became angry, Ben moved closer before the man even raised his voice. When an Alterian advisor looked uncomfortable, Ben adjusted the room's temperature without being asked. During a break, Kira approached Ben directly. "Guard Torres, may I speak with you privately?" "Of course, Your Majesty." Ben led her to a small side room. "Is there a security concern?" "Not exactly," Kira said carefully. "I have been thinking about our conversation yesterday." "About your origins in the escape pod," Ben nodded. "It is something I think about often, Your Majesty. Have you ever considered that you might not be entirely human?" Ben's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "Look at yourself carefully. Your features, your abilities. Minister Zara noticed them too. You are different from other humans." Ben was quiet for a long moment. "I have wondered about that. Sometimes I feel like I understand things that others miss, and I have always been stronger and faster than other people my age. What if I told you that 25 years ago, an Alterian prince named Dex disappeared while exploring space near where you were found?" Ben stared at her. "Are you saying I might be part Alterian?" "I am saying it is possible. The resemblance between you and Prince Dex is remarkable. Too remarkable to be coincidence." Before Ben could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors and an automated voice announced, "Security alert. All personnel report to emergency stations." Ben's training took over immediately. Your Majesty, we need to get you to a secure location. They rushed back to the conference room where chaos had erupted. Captain Webb was speaking rapidly into her communicator, while delegates from both species looked around nervously. What is happening? Kira demanded. Unknown ships have entered the system, Captain Webb replied. They are not responding to our communications and appear to be moving toward the station. Commander Vex, Kira's security chief, approached quickly. My queen. Our sensors show the ships are modified human vessels, but they are not Federation ships. They appear to be rebels or mercenaries. Rebels? Kira asked. There are groups on both sides who do not want peace, Captain Webb explained grimly. Some humans believe we should keep fighting until we win completely. Some Alterians feel the same way. The station shook as the attacking ships came closer. Through the conference room windows, they could see sleek black vessels approaching. They were firing on the station's outer defenses. We need to evacuate all delegates to the emergency shelters, Captain Webb announced. But Ben stepped forward.
Captain, I think that is exactly what they want.
If we hide in the shelters, the peace talks fail. The attackers win even if they do not destroy the station. What do you suggest? Kira asked. Ben looked thoughtful, his mind working quickly. The attackers are hoping to create fear and make both sides blame each other. But what if we work together instead? Combine Alterian and human defenses? Captain Webb shook her head. Our systems are not compatible. Human and Alterian technology work completely differently. Maybe not completely differently, Ben said. He turned to Kira. Your Majesty, may I see one of your personal devices? Something with Alterian technology? Kira handed him a small communication device. Ben examined it carefully, then looked at a human tablet on the conference table. The basic principles are similar, he said with growing excitement. The energy patterns, the data structures. If someone understood both systems well enough, they might be able to create a bridge between them. That is impossible, Commander Vex said. No one understands both technologies that well. Ben looked at Kira, then at the devices in his hands. What if someone was raised with human technology but had Alterian instincts? What if they could think like both species? The station shook again, more violently this time. The attacking ships were getting closer. We do not have time for theories, Captain Webb said. We need to protect everyone now. But Kira made a decision that surprised everyone. Give him a chance. Let Ben try to connect our systems, Your Majesty. Commander Vex protested. This is too dangerous. Fighting separately has not worked for 30 years, Kira replied. Maybe it is time to try working together. Captain Webb hesitated, then nodded. All right. But if this fails, we evacuate immediately. Ben moved to the main control console in the conference room. His hands moved quickly over both human and Alterian interfaces. As he worked, something remarkable happened. His movements became more fluid, more confident. It was as if he instinctively knew what to do. I can see the patterns, he said with wonder. The two technologies are like two parts of the same language. Humans focus on efficiency and speed. Alterians focus on harmony and balance. But they can work together. As Ben typed commands and adjusted settings, the room's screens began showing new information. Human and Alterian defense systems that had never communicated before were suddenly sharing data. This is impossible, whispered one of the human technicians. But it was working. The combined defense network was tracking the attacking ships more accurately than either system could alone. Human speed and Alterian precision were creating something stronger than both. The attackers are slowing down, Captain Webb reported. They seemed confused by our coordinated response. Through the conference room windows, they could see the attacking ships changing course. Instead of pressing their attack, they were pulling back. They expected us to panic and blame each other, Kira realized. When we worked together instead, their plan failed. But the crisis was not over yet. The attacking ships regrouped and came back, this time targeting the station's power systems. If they succeeded, the station would lose life support and communications. I need to get closer to the main computer core, Ben said. The connection between human and Alterian systems is not strong enough from here. The computer core is in the central section, Captain Webb said. But that area is under direct attack now. It is too dangerous, Ben looked at Kira. Your Majesty, I think I can do this, but I need your help. I need someone who understands Alterian technology from the inside. Kira did not hesitate. Then we go together. Despite protests from both their security teams, Kira and Ben made their way through the station's corridors toward the computer core. The station shook constantly as the attackers continued their assault. Emergency lighting cast strange shadows on the walls. As they moved, Ben's abilities became more apparent. He seemed to sense danger before it arrived, guiding them away from areas that were about to be hit. His reflexes were impossibly fast, and he moved with a grace that was definitely not human. "You are remembering," Kira said, as they climbed through a maintenance shaft. "Your Alterian heritage is awakening." "It feels like I am becoming who I was always meant to be," Ben replied. "But how is this possible? How can I be part Alterian?" They reached the computer core, a vast room filled with humming machinery. Both human and Alterian technology was present, but the systems were completely separate. "Now I understand," Ben said, studying the setup. This station was built for cooperation, but no one knew how to make the different technologies actually work together. He moved to the central console and began working. This time his actions were even more confident. His hands seemed to know exactly where to go, what buttons to press, what connections to make. As he worked, Kira watched in amazement. Ben's movements were becoming more Alterian by the minute. The way he held his head, the way he gestured with his hands, even the rhythm of his breathing. It was as if Prince Dex was somehow present in this human-raised young man. "Ben," she said softly, "I think I know what happened to Prince Dex." Ben paused in his work. "Tell me." Dex was exploring unknown space when his ship was attacked. But what if he survived the attack? What if he made it to an escape pod? And what if in that pod he was not alone? Ben stared at her. "You think he had a child with a human? Alterian and human genetics are more compatible than most people know. It is rare but not impossible. If Dex encountered human explorers and fell in love, if they had a child together, that child would be exactly like you. Raised by humans but with Alterian instincts." The station shook violently, interrupting their conversation. The attackers were making their final push. "I need to finish this," Ben said, turning back to the console. His work was almost complete. Human and Alterian systems were connecting in ways no one had thought possible. The combined network was becoming stronger and more sophisticated than either could be alone. "It is working," Kira said, watching the displays. "The station's defenses are coordinating perfectly." Through the computer core's windows, they could see the attacking ships retreating. The combined human-Alterian defense system was too powerful for them to overcome. But more importantly, delegates from both species were working together in the command center. Humans and Alterians were sharing information, coordinating responses and solving problems as a team. The crisis had shown them what cooperation could accomplish. Ben finished the last connections and stepped back. "The systems are fully integrated now. Human and Alterian technology working as one." Kira looked at him with new understanding. "Just like you. Human and Alterian, working as one." They returned to the conference room to find a very different atmosphere. Instead of suspicion and distrust, there was excitement and cooperation. Delegates from both species were talking eagerly about what they had accomplished together. "The attackers have retreated beyond sensor range," Captain Webb reported. "Our combined defenses were too strong for them." "More than that," said one of the human negotiators, "we learned that we can work together when we need to. Maybe peace is not just possible, but necessary." An Alterian advisor nodded. "Our technologies complement each other perfectly. Imagine what we could accomplish if we shared knowledge instead of fighting." As the formal peace talks resumed, the tone was completely different. Both sides were eager to find solutions and build a better future. The attack had failed in its goal of destroying the negotiations. Instead, it had brought the two species closer together. During another break, Kira and Ben found a quiet moment to talk. "What happens now?" Ben asked. "If I really am part Alterian, what does that mean?" "It means you are proof that our species can be more than allies," Kira said. "You are proof that we can be family." Ben smiled, and in that smile, Kira saw so much of Prince Dex that her 4 hearts ached with memory and hope. "I would like to visit your world someday," Ben said, "to learn about my Alterian heritage." "You will always be welcome," Kira promised. "And I think your human family would be welcome in Alterian space too." As the peace talks continued over the following days, Ben Torres became a symbol of what was possible. His ability to understand both species, to bridge their differences and combine their strengths, showed everyone a new way forward. The formal peace treaty was signed 1 week later. It included provisions for cultural exchange, shared technology development, and joint exploration missions. Ben was appointed as the first human-Alterian cultural liaison, a position created specifically for someone who could understand both species. On the day Queen Kira prepared to return home, she and Ben stood together on the station's observation deck, looking out at the stars. "I never found out what really happened to Prince Dex," Kira said quietly. "Maybe that does not matter anymore," Ben replied. "What matters is that something good came from whatever happened. Something that helped bring peace." Kira nodded. Dex always believed that exploration and discovery would make the galaxy better. In a way, he was right. As Kira's ship prepared to depart, she knew she was returning home with more than just a peace treaty. She was returning with hope for a future where humans and Alterians could build something beautiful together. And somewhere in space, Ben Torres began planning his own journey of discovery, ready to learn about the Alterian heritage that had helped him save 2 civilizations from endless war. The resemblance that had started everything was just the beginning. The real miracle was what Ben and Kira had built together, a bridge between worlds, a foundation for peace, and proof that sometimes the most powerful connections come from the courage to embrace what makes us different, while celebrating what makes us the same. The peace talks had ended, but the real work of building a better future was just beginning.